It's Rachel. So this is the first back to school video of the season, and it's DIY weird back to school supplies. And I've done this every year for the past 2 years. Sounded longer in my head. So give this video a thumbs up, and let's see if we can get it to 200,000 likes. Come on, you can do it. This is a workout. And comment down below which one of these DIY weird back to school supplies you like the most. Just as a side note, this whole weird series that I started like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'm not sure. The whole point is for people to see that these things are all very weird things, okay? They're all weird, but they're also awesome. So, if you feel like you're a little weird, it's okay, you're still awesome. So yeah, let's get on to the DIY weird back to school supplies you need to try. To make the pillow backpack, just take a backpack and find cheap sheets that are close to the color of the backpack, and then cut a chunk of the sheets out, then cut a section out of the sheets to fit the area that you're going to make the pillow portion. Hot glue 3 of those sides down, but make sure when you're doing that you fold over the sides to hide the seam. Then add cotton balls inside of it. But make sure to stretch out the cotton balls to make it fluffier. Then hot glue that side down. And you can add a pillow to whatever part of the backpack that you want. If your back hurts from your bag, add a pillow to the back. You can also add it to the straps. And now you can comfortably fall asleep in class when you're the only one that's done taking the test. For the makeup highlighter, you're gonna need an old empty makeup highlighter palette and round makeup sponges. Just add 1 sponge to each spot, then hot glue them all down. Now take highlighters and squeeze all the ink out of the cartridge of those. And now you have a cute makeup highlighter. However, it's still faster to use a regular highlighter, but this is more fun. To make eraser crayons, take an eraser and erase nothing. Then add baby powder and silicone together. And mix those two until you have a clay. To change the color, take some chalk and scrape that off and mix that in. And keep doing that until you have the color that you want. Now shape it like a crayon. So roll that out and cut off the sides. Then make a small triangle piece and attach that to the rolled out piece. Then let that harden. Now take the wrapper off of a regular crayon and glue that onto the eraser. And you can make a bunch of them. It'll confuse everyone in the room when your crayons erase things. You're going to start off by shaping some copper wire to your nail size. Then take an acrylic nail and slide it through to make sure it fits. And make that stiletto shaped. Then glue the wire down to the nail. And take some pencil lead and nail glue a piece of that to the nail tip. Make it for every finger. Then add hot glue over everything and dip a brush in a product that has some form of oil in it and smooth the hot glue out over the whole nail. You can also paint them if you want. For the water bottle notebook, put a Ziploc bag over the notebook and cut off any excess bag. Then hot glue the cut off side together and it'll fuse the plastic together to make it sealed shut. See? Then cut a small hole out of the top and stick a straw through it. Then hot glue that down and it'll fuse those two together too, and now you can decorate it. Cut a piece of a bag out and hot glue the sides. And do that 6 times. Then use a different type of glue and glue all those down. Now make red colored water. And pick that up with a syringe. And also make it in orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Then cut a small hole out of that bag and add the colored water into that. Then glue the hole shut. Or instead of all that, just buy those ice pops. But since I have no self-control, I ate all my ice pops, so I just made it like this. Now hot glue a smaller bag and seal the straw with that and a rubber band, and no water will come out. And now add those Velcro dots to the back of the bag and stick it onto the notebook. And also onto the Ziploc bag part. And to add the drink, take everything off the notebook so that you don't get your notebook wet. And open the bag, and then add the drink into it, and then seal it shut. And you got your water bottle notebook.